In this video, I will be talking about directional teaching and how it can benefit students with PDD and OS. So first, what is directional teaching? Well, directional teaching is allowing your students to work left to right or up and down. And the reason that we might do this for students is because it is easier for these students to follow. It's the routine they have done for a very long time, and it's how they were taught. And the reason I wrote these three is because they all play into place with each other. And why do I say this? Because that's how we take in information when we're working with ourselves. We're reading things, we're viewing things. We always go from top to bottom or left to right, and that's what they're used to. And that is why this is a good strategy to use with students with PDD and OS. Some ways that some ways that this can be done in the classroom is by making some accommodations for the students that suffer from PDD and OS. So the first thing I thought of is if we have crossword puzzles in class, a way that these students can have an accommodation is by just making two separate categories instead of having both of these interchanging with each other, because that could easily confuse our students. So if it's in a down category, they are easily able to work from top to bottom and avoid complications with going across. But for the words that are still going across, they're able to do that left to right. So if we're here, it can be the same thing as up and down, but just side to side, so the students are still feeling involved in the crossword, but it's easier for them to understand. So next, I have to grab my book. So here's my book. But the way that I also thought of this is with very simple children's books, and this really applies to the younger generations, like kindergarten through second grade. And some great books that you can do this with are Dr. Seuss books. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the words in these books are very small, and sometimes they'll even work from the top of the page to the bottom, and they won't be like regular sentences. So this can be a good strategy for students to work on their directions from going left to right, and then in the other pages of these books, it'll go from top to bottom. And that is something that these children might like as well. And the last strategy that can be implicated into this is with word blocks. And like I said, this is for younger generations as well, but students that are more likely to work left to right or up and down can use word blocks to work on their spelling. And this can be done by putting the words C-A-T, or it can go C-A-T. And this allows for up and down practice as well. Okay, I also just wanted to provide a few things to avoid when making this accommodation for your students. And the first thing is forcing one-way learning, and that means not allowing your student to do directional based. So they cannot work left to right or up and down. You're making them go all over, and this may cause problems with students. Next is complicated instructions. You need to be very clear with what you expect of your students so that they do not become confused. And lastly, I would avoid tiny print, because this can also just cause complications with not only students with PDD and OS, but also students with visual impairments, and can just add on top of it.